Praise be to Jesus. Well, hello again, everyone. It's a very busy Monday, which usually isn't the case, but today it is. Well, several hours ago, I talked about the letter that the Pope issued on the crisis here in America. And I think I said then that what I really wanted to wait for is um, for someone who's much more educated than I am to start talking out about this. And so now an article appears by someone who is educated, and I'm going to read her some of her analysis to you, uh, which also contains feedback from social media sources and some from some other sources about what um, what they think is good about the letter, but mostly it's what's missing from the letter. Um, so let me start reading that to you here. Okay, so the letter is facing criticism from faithful Catholics for failing to specify any concrete actions he would take to address the crisis, that being the Pope, and ignoring the underlying issue of rampant homosexuality in the clergy. He did not, however, acknowledge the issue of homosexuality among clergy, offer concrete steps for resolution of the crisis, nor recognize the role of bishops have played in the scandal. In fact, the word bishop does not appear once in the entire letter. Excuse me while I take a drink of water there. Cardinal Raymond Burke stated in two interviews concerning the crisis that only the Pope can address situations of misconduct or negligence by bishops, not a bishops' conference. It is the Roman Pontiff, the Holy Father, who has the responsibility to discipline these situations, Burke has said, and it is he who needs to take action following the procedures that are given in the Church's discipline. This is what will address the situation effectively. The U.S. bishops' own studies on the clergy sex abuse scandal have repeatedly affirmed a link between the crisis and the actions of homosexual clerics. Strikingly, Francis never uses the word bishop in his letter. A report from Crux on the Pope's statement said, although the role of some members of the hierarchy is exacerbating the abuse crisis through inaction or outright cover up, has been a central bone of contention for some time. Progressive theologian Massimo Fagliano noted the same, stating, two words that are significantly absent from Pope Francis's letter about the abuse scandal: bishops and episcopal. There was ample criticism of the Pope's letter on Twitter, including this from American papist blogger Thomas Peters. Pope Francis's statement says nothing about 1. Homosexual clergy, 2. An investigation into the Vatican, 3. Calling bishops in particular to prayer and fasting, 4. Acknowledging the ongoing nature of the cover ups, 5. Next steps, resolve with no resolutions. American conservative columnist Ron Drescher, who has covered the church's abuse scandal extensively, tweeted, nice words from Pope Francis, But after all this time and all these empty promises from the episcopate, what counts now are deeds. Marie Collins, an abuse survivor and former member of the Pontifical Commission for Protection of Minors, tweeted, a little puzzled by Pope Francis's reference in his letter to work being carried out in parts of the world to make those who cover up accountable. We have been told only the Pope can hold bishops accountable. Sadly, nothing as regards concert plan or action in this letter. Well, there's, like I said, these are just some excerpts. So, um, there's more to the article if you're interested in reading it. But, as usual, people see some holes in maybe not so much what he said, but what he didn't say. And, I mean, obviously, I think I recognize right off the bat that from what I was reading, that he could have stated things much more strongly. And I think the one thing that was bothering me that I realize now is that he's asking us to pray and fast to do penance, okay, for the church. But he's doing that with us, the laity, but he's not specifically saying, addressing this to the bishops and the cardinals or the hierarchy of the church. See, I think that's what got under my skin. I didn't realize it then, but I just realized it right now. That's really what's gotten under my skin. It's like we screwed up, and you guys fix it, okay? No, I mean, we'll help you. I mean, that's the way I feel. We'll help you fix it. But come on, you guys set the pace. You guys take the lead. The hierarchy takes the lead. Well, that's what I think anyway. So a lot of you have been leaving all kinds of comments here. I've been reading them on and off and responding to some of them. So, keep on dialoguing about this and dialogue with people who, are sort of on the outskirts of all this, who say, well, I don't have, time to read all this or pay attention to it. And it's like, people have the time to do what's important to them. So, if people can't see that what's going on in the church has to do in a very general way with their own salvation, because, Christ is going to hold us responsible. It's our responsibility to take interest in our faith and what's going on in the church. And if other people that are doing that, then they're spending time probably in the world enjoying themselves, which is more important to them than what's going on. So, maybe in a very loving way, sort of confront them with, perhaps, the way they have things lined up in their life, their values, in other words, what's important to them. These things may be like, in the wrong order. Um, so, I mean, that's just my suggestion. So, I think there's even something else I'm going to post in a little while. So, that's it for right now then.